Hello, everybody. I'm Roadblock. We are on the free-to-play account, and I'm streaming right now, and I've spent the last like hour trying to figure out how to speed tune uh, a killable team. Um, it would probably be easier if I didn't have Deacon in there, so that's a possibility. Deacon's double, obviously his turn meter, and then his double uh ability kind of throws stuff off a lot, but it'll also be easier maybe once I have Taragi and Skull Crusher running together in Clan Boss, but um definitely proving to be difficult. So I've even fooled around with a calculator a little bit, and I don't really grasp my head, and there's not enough information about it on where to start with an ally protect team. Um, my speeds are all over the place. Like they're very inconsistent, so I know that's a big factor. Like I kind of probably need to get Geomancer on a 2-to-1 at least. But it's like when you go to look up, like, okay, well, what speed do I need for a 2-to-1? They don't tell you, right? And obviously, because there's many factors involved, you have a speed or but um, and what speeds is everyone else at is the big issue. Like I'm just kind of having a hard time wrapping my head around it. I understand the concept, but without kind of like a fill in the blank here type, like I guess I don't know what speeds to actually hit. Now, in other news on the account, I built out a bunch of champions. I built out Taragi, so I've got him 178 speed, 75,000 HP, 273 accuracy, so we can land our poisons. Um, I mean, there is a good chance that I just throw them both in there and get lucky, which is a strong possibility, but I don't know for sure if that's going to work. And then I still have the major issue about keeping everybody alive. I just don't know how I'm going to heal in that scenario. If I was using Rathalos, Venomage, Geo, and then two ally protectors. Because right now everyone's staying alive off of Deacon's Leech. The other thing would be to put in Ultimate Death Knight, which I think would be good. It kind of is a little problematic. Like we're not getting full value of shields, but theoretically we would always have a shield up at least. And then Ultimate Death Knight brings continuous healing. Um, which isn't the most heals in the game or anything, but it's better than nothing. And he would bring decreased attack, so perhaps, and he hits kind of decently hard, so he could replace Venomage as well. I'd have to build him for accuracy 2, which he's currently has none. He's really just a giant tank, and that's kind of like how I like him. So, well, I guess I wouldn't, right? Because Taragi would bring decreased attack, so I'd have that. But taking out Venomage, I lose decreased defense. Well, I guess I get decreased defense from Rathalos on a small chance. So it is kind of hard to say for sure. So, yeah, I just wish there was kind of like a starting point. Like, this is the starting point. Build your team roughly around these speeds and have your ally protect champion at this speed, throw them in the calculator, and then start moving stuff around to make it work. Like, but there's no start. There's no basic, like, yeah, do this. And that makes it hard for me to figure out, especially when I'm so tired because we are at the end of the night. I've been streaming for a very long time, still streaming now. I'm exhausted. But um so that was the big thing I wanted to get done, and I kind of put it off till last because I'm so anxious about it, and I'm not really finding any results in my research, and I'm not really seeing results, just playing in the calculator and seeing like, okay, well, maybe I move some people around because the goal is to get Skull Crusher to go before the clan boss, but uh, every time that means that it's not just his speed that I'm moving, it's everybody's speed that has to be moving. But I don't know, do I need to make one person faster? Do I make one person slower? Like, I just can't quite figure out wrapping my head around it. It's just, again, I'm very tired, so, maybe I could reattack it at another point and have better results. But enough about that. Let's move on. We got our soul for Rathalos. So we do now have the extra extra defense, but also 1% damage for each buff, which we do have quite a few buffs going out there, especially with Taragi, and we're going to have quite a few buffs between, we're going to have an ally protect and a counterattack, and then we're going to have a shield out there now. And then the ally protect will still be there, but then ally protect will be, and reflect damage, but that's only on Taragi. We have the self buffs from Rathalos. So not anything too crazy, but we're definitely going to be increasing. I mean, right now, we're actually getting a lot of buffs. Because we're getting increased attack, increased defense, and strengthen off of our Ursula. So, I don't know, maybe the team is just the best. Maybe Ally Protector just isn't better than the team that I currently have. I mean, well, wait, I'm not using this team anymore, so never mind. It's tough, man. I remember building killable teams before, and I was using Ultimate Death Knight, but I also had a healer with them to keep everyone alive, and that healer brought decreased attack because it was Rector Drath. Okay. So we did get the artifact enhancement done. Now, I was thinking I might be able to get to the greater extract. I definitely do not have enough to be able to get that 4-star. That's a big gap. As far as events go, I've done the entirety of this event. And the champion training event would get me 250 points if I did the whole thing. So 860 points. It could get me a Void Shard if I push to get through that, but I'm not too interested in that. I think I talked in depth already in my most recent video about the fusion. Now, I talked on stream about the new fusion quite a bit, and I speculated about, how does this fusion fit into my current roster, but it makes more sense when I get Arbiter. Um one thing I considered was Herndig. So what I was telling my chat, okay, was if the ideal team, because Arbiter's right around the corner, which we'll talk about in a second, but the ideal team would be Arbiter for speed and increased attack, a decreased defense, the new champion for turn meter control, and then a really big nuker. The problem is Sun Wukong can't one-shot everybody. Because right now, if I show you my team, let's go into something like this. So Deacon goes first, decreased defense, increased attack. Sun Wukong kills most of them, but not all of them, right? So I need another heavy hitter that can clear the enemy team. Now, that follow-up finishing hit is my Kale. So I was thinking, instead of Deacon as my decreased defense, because I'm going to get enough turn meter, so I'd gain, and I would gain turn meter from Arbiter, right? So Arbiter gives me the increased speed and the increased attack. Deacon does decreased defense right now, but doesn't hit very hard with that decreased defense. If I changed it up a little bit, if I went Arbiter into the new guy, because he gives big turn meter control, right? Like he can wipe the turn meter out of everybody, potentially, give or take some weak hits and whatnot, or resistances. Then I go into a nuker that also brings decreased defense, and then Sun Wukong comes in and finishes, right? And so that was what I was thinking. Now, what gave me this thought was on my main account, I have a Ragash who hits really hard and also brings decreased defense. He also brings a 100% chance to stun. Obviously, that's amazing, right? We don't necessarily need that stun. More so, I want the big damage and the decreased defense, which is then followed up by my heavy-hitting Sun Wukong, who's my best and hardest-hitting PvP nuker right now. So that was kind of the thought process I had. And I looked at my account and I noticed that I had Herndig. So I looked up his multipliers. His multiplier is actually only off by 0.1 to what Ragash is, who, in my experience, hits very hard and gives you decreased defense. Now, Herndig doesn't bring the stun, at least not on the A2. But he does get a lot of turn meter, and also has a chance to decrease this ability, which is a very interesting ability, but I'm more so interested in this hit right here. And I want to make sure that I was looking at the right ability too. Now, I do understand that multipliers are very different. One of them's a defense-based champion. One of them's a attack-based champion. So, but it's 4.4 times attack. It's a 4.4 multiplier on Arcane Tempest for Herndig. And for Ragash was a 4.5 for his stun. and decreased defense. So I was thinking that maybe I go with that combination, right? Like we have the new guy, we get the turn meter control, um, and sheep, right? And cooldown reduction. Like we're getting all this cool stuff, and then Herndig can just hit hard and decrease defense, and then Sun Wukong kind of cleans up anything after that. Now the Herndig would be built for damage. He's going to be hard to build though, because I would need him to have high accuracy, but also hitting hard, which is a challenge at times. Very much so a challenge. Um, and I would need to have a really fast Arbiter to pull that off. So, I don't know. It's just a thought that I had out there. The other thought that I had is if the new champion can hit at least as decently as a Kale, then he just replaces Kale, and then I get turn meter and damage, and it just secures my win a little bit. You know, it's a win more type of situation. So it's kind of where I'm at, kind of what I'm leaning towards. Still a lot of unknowns, but I will be going 100% going for the next fusion. Um, I think that champion is going to be game breaking, not in a literal sense, but figuratively for areas that require wave clear. You're talking, even if you just use the A1, you're talking about a chance to, with you put him in a stun set with an A1 AoE hit that could also reduce cooldowns and could also stun and all that stuff. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So I don't know. We'll see. As far as updates regarding the account, I mean, the biggest thing was the Rathalos, right? Um, Going into this spider tournament, I do want to do that. Let's talk about the fusion. Let's talk about fusion prep. A couple people asked me, so they're going to be doing a hybrid fusion. That much is confirmed, where we're getting fragments for the epics, and then we're going to level up and fuse them. And they were asking about uh, farming. How many brews should they have? So, or not brews, potions. I apologize. When we get more information, when we find out what this epic is it spirit, is it force, is it magic, then we can very easily say, okay, it's a magic affinity. You need to have this many potions of varying types in order to level up or to ascend to 5 stars all of these different ones. And it would be 5 stars, right? Let me double check. Yeah, they would be ascended to 5 stars. Um, the number is the same. I just don't know the number off the top of my head. I wonder if I could look that up. Hang on. How many potions to ascend an epic 5 star? Oh, there we go. There's a chart. Okay, epic to 5 stars is 35. Oh, no, 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 no. Sorry, that's an S. Okay. One moment. one person made a comment about me using a calculator, and I was like, I'll never forget it. Like, so embarrassed every time. Plus 9. All right, so 20 graders. And then 13. Nope, sorry, that's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. 6 superiors for the color that you need. Uh, I feel like arcane you can just farm it when you need it, so that doesn't matter. But yeah, so 20 graders and then 6 superiors per. That's per one champion. Sorry. So 20 times 4, so 80 superior, sorry, 80 graders and then 24 superiors according to this random chart that I just found that I have no way of verifying. Now, one thing I will say is that Hell Hades and their team do a great job of posting updates as soon as we get more information. They're going to give a breakdown. So I'll talk about that breakdown when it comes out for those of you that are curious about going for this fusion. Now, I will be honest, I'm a little disappointed. You know, it does sound like a good fusion. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be valuable. I think it's going to be just like Sun Wukong, where it's really going to change and take over the arena meta. What I'm upset about is that I really wanted something that might have a greater impact for me personally in PvE, right? Like an kind of an Emic level or Newt level type, even like a Pythion, something along those lines. I'm okay with what we're getting, but it is just one of those things where I would have preferred that. But I do feel like the account has kind of found its legs now, and as long as I'm playing intelligently, I can go for every fusion. There are certainly ones that I won't go for, right? If we get another like Loriaka type fusion, like nah, skip. But I do think that that I do think that I'm in a position. I've built up the economy of my account well enough that I can certainly go for these fusions at a decent enough rate. And anytime I skip a fusion, all I'm then doing is saving up resources for a future fusion at that point, right? And I think that's a really good spot to be in. Oh, and I got Syl. So I pulled Syl. That gave me a few extra points in the Champion Chase tournament. Um, I did the numbers. Another 1,000 points would get me 2279. That's not enough to even get here, and I would much rather save those points for a potential champion chase. Now, I suspect, and I could very much be wrong because I've been wrong very much recently, but I am suspecting that any champion chase associated with the new fusion would be for voids. Because we haven't had a void 2x in a minute, and 2x's usually coincide with the champion chases. So that remains to be seen. Also expect other interesting, fun deals to come our way. Possibly like free stuff. The Rathalos event is ending soon. I know I saw that was it in the news? March 5th. So yeah, 2 days away, and then we'll probably be like a couple weeks before the next free champion comes along. So looking forward to that. I'm curious of what they're gonna do. It feels like they go what? PvE, then PvP, right? Because we had Ultimate Death Knight. Let me go on my main account. That'll help me remember better. So Ultimate Death Knight was Rhonda after. Yeah. So Ultimate Death Knight. Then Rhonda. It may then Artak. Then Sun Wukong. And then Rathalos. I feel like I'm missing somebody in there. I feel like that pretty much named it. I can't think of any other free login legendaries. Right? I So Deliana was my first chance. Then Ultimate Death Knight, who I got. After Ultimate Death Knight, I think it was Rhonda. And then Artak, then Sun Wukong, and now Rathalos. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm right about that, but I could be wrong. So if we follow that, so Ultimate Death Knight, Rhonda was PvP, Artak was PvE, Sun Wukong was PvP, Rathalos was PvE. I mean, he is like, don't get me wrong, they're good like Ultimate Death Knight is probably one of the better PvP champions that everybody uses, right? But I wouldn't consider him to, he was a support. Like, it wasn't really built to be a PvP champion. He just happened to also be one. I think it sounds kind of mean to say it that way, but I feel like he wasn't built with PvP in mind. They weren't saying like he's going to change the meta or anything. Like, this guy right now is built for PvP, very clearly, right? Sheep, turn meter control, that kind of stuff, right? Uh, with Ultimate Death Knight, you were getting shields, you're getting the solo farming capability that he brought. I mean, he's good everywhere. So, it is maybe a flaw in my logic. So I'm just, it feels like, um, sorry, the new guy is not a login legendary. He's a fusion. So I take back what I said there. I misspoke. Um, so the next one would, it feels like the next the free login champion might be more PvP themed, but I don't know. I mean, if it's not, then clearly I'm just completely wrong, right? If it is, then I'm going to claim that I said it first, right? Okay. That's pretty much everything I have for you guys. I'm very tired. Sorry for if this video was a little subpar. I'm trying to focus, trying to gain my wits, but definitely staying up very, very late tonight and recording this one late. I'm still live too. So, am I interested in what? Anyways, I'm gonna stop recording this. Um, But thank you guys for all the support that you guys have been giving me. Thank you for everyone that hung out on stream tonight. Just been an absolute blast streaming. I wish I could figure out more about kind of the speed tuning with the Ally Protect, but we're getting there. Uh, yeah, but overall, I'm really happy about where this account is going. I did build some new champions. I didn't rebuild anybody, and now I'm kind of giving. I'm on the wrong account. I am still streaming Pastor Lex. I'm also recording a video right now, so you'll hear yourself in it. Um, so still kind of deciding about who to build next. Something that I thought was interesting. I know I talked about this in Herndig's kit before, but I wanted to mention that the fully depletes the target's turn meter. This might be really good on Spider. I've been talking all this time about Ignatius for Spider, but Herndig also places HP burns. Now, their turn meter has to be below 30%, which could be a problem with landing what I'm talking about, but he also depletes the turn meter of the Spider and then could potentially put burns out on all the Spiderlings. So this would act as a turn meter control on a, mind you, on a 4-turn cooldown, but then if he A1s the little guys, then he can just potentially keep using this and depleting the turn meter. I don't know. It kind of feels pretty good there, but Ignatius is just a little more. But see, even his is on a 5-turn cooldown when booked, which is kind of high. Like, that's, well, I guess because it can't be resisted, maybe that's why it's on such a high cooldown, so I don't have to build him with accuracy, but I also don't want him to hit hard either, so the more and more I'm talking about it, the more and more I'm leaning towards Herndig. Not just for the decreased defense, and, well, that's the kicker. That's the real kicker, is that if I'm building a Herndig, I'm going to want him to smack. I need somebody that's going to place HP burns and not hit. That's a big part of it. So, kind of a big part of what I'm going for with their builds. I just had a realization that now that I have Syl, I could potentially consider using Syl and Clan Boss to get the healing that I want. But she doesn't bring much else other than a revive, which can be pretty handy, I suppose, as well as being very tanky, but she would also bring the healing. Oh no. Okay. Well, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for all the support. I don't know when I'm going to stream again, and I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff off camera tomorrow. Grinding, leveling, completing quests. Oh, missions. Sorry. Man, I really want to end this video. Oh, never mind. Yeah, we're a quarter of the way through the mission. So, we're working towards that. And after that, we are pretty much smooth sailing to Arbiter. So, looking forward to that. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next video.